Hi, I'm Steve Taylor. I work at a company called 3DGBIRE. We help organisations throughout the UK adopt additive manufacturing. I originally got involved around about 2018 with WorldSkills UK and the Built Environment competition. When I left that organisation and joined 3DGBIRE, one of the things I wanted to do was see if there was a possibility of an additive manufacturing competition. At that time, around about 2020, I found that there was an additive manufacturing competition globally, but at that time WorldSkills UK hadn't adopted it into their portfolio of competitions. So I then started on the journey to approach WorldSkills UK and have been working with them for the past 3 years in bringing the WorldSkills UK additive manufacturing competition into a reality and being adopted by WorldSkills UK. I thought it was very important to actually bring, this additive manufacturing skill into the remit of the competitions, purely because of how additive manufacturing is exponentially growing within organisations and the lack of skills within current organisations with them able to adopt the technology. Purely, the technology advancement in additive manufacturing is increasing at such a rate that the skills of the workforce are not being able to keep up with it. So what better than to actually skill up the next generation of learners with these new skills so that when they hit the workplace, they're ready to actually not just run with the skill, but actually drive it within that organisation. Yeah, when I was putting this competition together, obviously additive manufacturing is a wide scope that we need to cover. Now, the competition itself is open to college-age students through to university students, and there's a wide range of skills within that. Now, for the national competition, we try and pitch it at your college level students, and then as we come to the national finals, we then start ramping up the level of the actual skill. Now, the skills that I've focused on so far within the regional heats are the ones to do with reverse engineering, whether it's from a given scanned model or whether it's actually where you're given a part and you have to recreate that part, either doing mechanical measurements using vernier calipers or steel rules, and then model that in Autodesk Fusion 360 and then be able to actually 3D print that, set up your 3D printer and actually get that going. So totally reverse engineering. As we move into the national finals, we're going to bring in scanning, so the delegates will then have to obtain their own spatial geometry, so obtain their own cloud points, STL file, and then reverse engineer that. And then as we move into then the global competitions, we'll again be looking at addressing different technologies such as SLS and DLP, resin printing, and also we'll be looking at different scenarios of designing like jigs and fixtures and things like that, which is common day practice within industry. I think because this is a demo competition, I'm actually quite surprised how good some of the competitors are actually dealing with the skills at hand. Some of them are more advanced than potentially I would have thought at this stage. I think the thing for them to get used to is that it is a pressure competition. There are time constraints and that they need to be able to complete the challenge within the time frame given. So that adds that little bit more of a skill within that. It's the time management of the competition as well. Hopefully, I see the future of the actual skill is that not only are, that more and more colleges adopt the competition within the day-to-day practices, but universities do. And also it is open to apprentices or new apprentices in commercial organisations. So the more involvement we can get from industry within this to develop it, the idea is that the UK can lead on this WorldSkills competition and the development of the skill globally. One of the things that we had to do to make this competition a reality was to reach out to organisations, to manufacturers, to commercial parties to see whether they would be interested in becoming a sponsor or a part sponsor for the competition. So on this first round in the demo competition, we've reached out to a number of organisations, and one of the largest FDM or FFF manufacturers, UltiMaker, have been a great sponsor with technology and resources. And we've also got Shining 3D. So as we're now moving into the national competition or the finals, then we've got their support to develop the competitors' knowledge and use of the scanning technology.